What drove Anakin Skywalker to become Darth Vader? Was it simply the pull of the dark side of the Force, or something much deeper, buried in the human psyche? In this video, we'll dive into the mind of one of the most legendary villains in history, using Jungian psychology as our guide. Which archetype, a universal pattern of behavior that shapes our actions and emotions, steered his journey? How did the forces of light and shadow battle within him? And what does this reveal about who we are? Darth Vader is more than just a character. He's a powerful symbol of ambition, collapse, and redemption. Why does he still grip our imaginations? Because deep inside, we all carry a piece of that same energy, and you're about to uncover what it is. Here's the kicker. This isn't just about Vader, it's about you. Could the same archetype that defined his path be influencing your decisions, your fears, your inner shadow? By the time this video ends, you'll spot that energy in yourself, and maybe even learn how to harness it. If you're ready to crack open the secrets of the human mind, don't go anywhere. Not subscribed yet? Click that subscribe button now to join us for more deep dives. The shadowy depths of psychology are waiting. Are you ready to face them? To understand what drives us, let's explore what Carl Gustav Jung uncovered about human behavior. The archetypes, universal patterns that shape how we think, feel, and act. Why do some stories hit us so hard? Why do we sometimes act in ways that surprise even ourselves? Deep within every choice, every epic saga, and every unforgettable character lies a hidden force, ancient energies and primal instincts that define who we are. Jung ventured into the depths of the human psyche and discovered the collective unconscious, a shared reservoir of symbols and drives we all inherit. Within this vast ocean live the archetypes, timeless molds like the magician, the leader, the just. These are the soul's characters woven into every culture, guiding how we love, fear, dream, and grow. Yet every archetype has two sides. The light reveals our gifts, our strengths, our potential to shine. The shadow holds what we hide, deny, or fear. But it's also where raw truth and power reside. Jung taught that embracing this shadow, not rejecting it, leads to true wholeness and authenticity. The dragon inside us doesn't need to be defeated. It needs to be understood and tamed. Welcome to Jung the Shadow Decoder, where we unravel iconic figures through this lens, revealing not just their stories but reflections of our own. Are you ready to plunge into the unconscious and uncover the truths beneath the tales? What is your shadow whispering to you? To dive into the intricate psyche of one of history's most layered characters, let's first revisit the essential arc of Anakin Skywalker's transformation into the fearsome Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker emerged from the humble sands of Tatooine, a young slave boy whose fate reached far beyond the stars. His extraordinary connection to the Force wasn't just a gift. It was a latent power that set him apart as exceptional. Qui-Gon Jinn, a wise Jedi master, was the first to recognize this boundless potential, seeing in Anakin the prophecy of the Chosen One, destined to restore balance to the Force. With an innocence that stood in stark contrast to his immense power, Anakin embodied hope, a young man with a pure heart and a seemingly limitless capacity for good. Joining the Jedi Order, far from his life of servitude, he carried the promise of a radiant future, a beacon of light amid the gathering shadows of the galaxy. Yet, the brilliance of Anakin's promise began to dim under the weight of fear and doubt. His forbidden love for Padme, coupled with haunting visions of her death, fueled a growing anxiety and an obsessive need for control. To him, the dark side wasn't a lure but a solution, a way to master life and death, especially to protect those he cherished most. Skillfully manipulated by Palpatine, who preyed on Anakin's frustrations with the Jedi Order and his thirst for greater knowledge, he was slowly pulled into a chasm. Anger at his own powerlessness, resentment for not being granted the rank of master, and desperation to save Padme drove him to betray the Jedi and commit unthinkable acts of violence. This irreversible path turned the Chosen One into the dreaded Sith Lord, Darth Vader, a figure of overwhelming power, yet chained to his own anguish and the darkness he once vowed to fight. Reborn from the ashes in his black armor, Anakin Skywalker vanished, replaced by the towering and terrifying Darth Vader. As Emperor Palpatine's right hand, Vader became the embodiment of galactic tyranny and oppression. His mere presence could silence hope and instill dread across entire worlds. He spearheaded the purge of the Jedi, hunted down the Order's last survivors, and enforced the Empire's iron will with unrelenting cruelty. Each mechanical breath and swing of his crimson lightsaber bore witness to the destruction he represented, a chilling reflection of the shadow that had consumed him. Vader wasn't merely an enforcer, he was a living symbol of terror, leaving a legacy of fear that reverberated across the galaxy. Even after decades lost in darkness, the spark of the Chosen One never fully faded. Trapped within his armor, the man who was once Anakin Skywalker faced a final, pivotal moment. As his son, Luke Skywalker, stood on the brink of death and the Emperor's cruelty reached its peak, something shattered within Vader's hardened shell. In a profound act of love and sacrifice, Vader turned against his master, destroying Palpatine and in doing so, redeeming himself. This was his final return to the light, a cathartic moment proving that, no matter how deep the shadow, the essence of Anakin Skywalker, the hope of his youth, still endured. His death marked not only the end of a tyrant, but the victory of compassion and love over hatred and fear, completing the cycle of his tragic yet redemptive journey. Having explored the epic saga of Anakin Skywalker, from his hopeful beginnings to his transformation into the Sith Lord Darth Vader, you might be wondering, what deeper force fueled this contradictory journey? There exists an archetypal energy, a primal power within the collective unconscious, that perfectly aligns with every facet of his existence. This force drives the expansion of consciousness, self-expression, and enlightenment, yet harbors the risk of excessive self-importance and manipulation when twisted. From the start, Anakin radiated an undeniable strength and presence, the Chosen One, with a brilliant potential for good and a vitality that drew everyone to him. His pursuit of mastery and control, though rooted in fear and love, mirrored the ambition of someone striving to shape and illuminate their world, but in its shadow, it could smother everything around it. At the heart of Anakin Skywalker's brilliance and darkness, his promise and tragedy, lies the archetype of the sun, also known as the Luminous archetype. When the Luminous archetype shines in its fullest expression, it unveils one of the most inspiring and elevated potentials of the human spirit. Here, creativity and vitality aren't mere impulses, they're powerful instruments for transformation, both personal and collective. This energy is fueled by genuine inspiration, a longing to uplift others, spark profound emotions, and ignite reflections that broaden awareness. Those who embody the luminous in its light live to give form to the unseen, weaving beauty, pain, and hope into something that resonates deeply. People who channel the luminous light often display vivid and sensitive imagination. They see the extraordinary in the ordinary, turning everyday moments into something magical. Powerful self-expression, they translate their emotions and ideas into art, communication, or their way of living with striking authenticity. Inspiration for collective awakening. Their presence and creations encourage others to reconnect with their humanity and untapped potential. Natural charm and magnetism. They draw people in, not through superficiality, but through the depth and sincerity they exude. Openness to new ideas. They thrive in a constant flow of creation and reinvention, eager to learn and evolve. Refined idealism and sensitivity. They cherish the symbolic, poetic, and subjective, always seeking a greater purpose. Quest for radical authenticity. They break free from imposed norms to stay true to their essence, even if it causes friction. Joyful vitality. They radiate an infectious optimism and energy, acting as a beacon for those around them. These are the hallmarks of a soul that glows, lighting the way and inspiring growth, turning existence itself into a work of art. When we look at Anakin Skywalker in his purest form, we see that he didn't just possess the qualities of the luminous archetype's light. He embodied them with overwhelming intensity. He was a rising sun, destined to brighten the universe. From his modest roots on Tatooine, Anakin showed a vivid and sensitive imagination, finding possibilities where others saw only despair. His dreams of freedom and instinct to help others overflowed, transforming the mundane into the extraordinary. His powerful self-expression shone through his innate bond with the Force. He didn't just wield it, he felt it, communicated through it, achieving feats that seemed like magic. Anakin sparked a collective awakening. His presence among the Jedi, the hope he carried as the Chosen One, and his undeniable strength inspired those around him. He possessed a natural charm and magnetism, not born of manipulation, but of the authenticity and potential he radiated. His openness to new ideas was clear in his swift mastery of Jedi techniques, and his hunger for greater knowledge and power, a desire at that time aimed toward good. He pursued radical authenticity, often challenging the Jedi Order's rules in favor of a more direct path to justice, revealing a refined idealism and sensitivity that propelled him. Above all, the joyful vitality of young Anakin was contagious. His energy poured out in every smile, every daring maneuver with his ship or lightsaber. As we bask in Anakin's radiant light, we uncover a striking parallel with the Sun card, a major arcana in the tarot. Like archetypes, tarot cards are vivid symbols, rich with meaning, serving as mirrors to our collective unconscious. Through his profound insight, Carl Jung revealed a deep connection. These symbols, whether found in tarot cards, myths, dreams, or archetypes, reflect patterns and energies embedded within us, inherited in our psyche without our conscious awareness. The Sun card in the tarot captures exactly what we saw in Anakin during his rise: optimism, clarity, vitality, success, and the awakening of consciousness. It embodies the light that banishes darkness, the truth that shines forth, and the joy of existence. Much like the Luminous archetype, the Sun card speaks of a time of fulfillment, achievement, and a deep connection to the universal creative force. It represents the pure expression of awareness, authentic self-expression, and the guiding brilliance that defined Anakin before his fall. Despite the radiant promise of young Anakin, the seeds of his downfall were sown in the fertile ground of fear and uncertainty. His profound sensitivity, which made him so powerful in the Force, also left him exposed. His forbidden love for Padme, combined with haunting visions of her death, turned his idealism into a desperate obsession for control. To Anakin, the dark side wasn't a curse but a solution, the key to overcoming his deepest fears, saving those he loved, and achieving invincible power. It was in this moment of vulnerability that Palpatine, the cunning Chancellor, found the perfect opening. He preyed on Anakin's frustrations with the Jedi Order's restrictions and his insatiable hunger for greater knowledge and strength. Fueled by anger at his own limitations, resentment for not being fully acknowledged, and desperation to protect Padme, Anakin's path led to his betrayal of the Jedi and acts of unimaginable violence. This irreversible descent transformed the Chosen One into the dreaded Sith Lord, Darth Vader, a figure of immense power, yet enslaved by his own pain and the darkness he once swore to oppose. The rising sun he once was became a conduit for the shadow that would engulf the galaxy. When someone resists or suppresses their inner calling, the vibrant and creative energy of the Luminous archetype, once so full of promise, fractures into a devastating inner conflict. What could have been inspiration turns to unrest. Potential beauty becomes silent suffering. The shadow of the Luminous archetype often manifests as profound and lingering melancholy, a deep sadness without clear cause, draining all vitality. Existential anguish, a sense of disconnection or worthlessness even amidst success. Emotional instability and anxiety, stemming from struggles to express one's true self or integrate their essence. Excessive self-importance and narcissism, a relentless need for external validation to mask inner insecurity. Manipulative tendencies, using charisma and magnetism to control others rather than inspire them. Arrogance and overbearing pride, a belief in one's own superiority, stifling growth and humility. Self-centered ambition, a fixation on personal desires and achievements, disregarding others' well-being. Escapism, seeking refuge in addictions, fantasies, or destructive behaviors to avoid inner pain. Sleeplessness and mental torment, driven by unprocessed emotional turmoil or a restless mind without constructive purpose. The shadow of the luminous serves as a warning. The same light that illuminates can, when distorted, blind and imprison. Understanding this duality is key to navigating the human psyche, and soon we'll see how it played out so vividly in Anakin Skywalker's life. Now let's turn to Darth Vader. He's not just an iconic villain, he's the very embodiment of the luminous archetype in its darkest form. Every choice, every action of Vader reflects the traits that emerge when such a potent energy is suppressed and warped. Vader's deep, persistent melancholy was palpable, even behind his mask. Beneath the armor lay a being consumed by endless sorrow, a void that no amount of imperial power could fill. His existential anguish, the sense of not belonging, of futility, was the unhealed pain of Anakin, manifesting as Vader's cold resignation to his grim fate. Anakin's anxiety and emotional volatility transformed perfectly into Vader's arrogance and excessive pride. He brooked no challenge, enforced his will with an iron grip, and believed himself the sole arbiter of truth, a clear sign of narcissism and self-importance. His manipulative tendencies became his deadliest weapon, wielding fear and the Force to dominate the galaxy, reflecting the unchecked ambition of someone craving power at any cost. Vader lived in constant escape from reality, bound to the machine that sustained him and the lies that justified his actions. He severed ties with his true self. The overblown ambition that drew him to the dark side turned him into an instrument of oppression, obsessed with control and power, with no room for the compassion or light that once defined him. His sleepless nights and mental torment were, without doubt, the private hell of someone burdened by the weight of their darkest choices. Darth Vader stands as living proof that the same energy driving us toward greatness and light can, if not consciously embraced, drag us into the deepest darkness. He is the luminous archetype turned into a black hole, consuming everything around him because he couldn't tame his own flame. But what do these energies, archetypes, light and shadow, tell us about ourselves? You've seen how Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one who radiated the brilliance of the luminous archetype, fell into darkness. How does this happen? The truth is, archetypes are neutral forces, as we've said. They are universal patterns within our collective unconscious, and how we experience them, whether in light or shadow, depends on our choices, emotions, and beliefs. Fear, anger, and belief in lies are powerful triggers that pull us away from embodying an archetype's light. They act like veils, warping our perception and pushing us toward the shadow side of that same energy. Consider fear. It paralyzes, drives us to seek control where none exists, and blinds us to the solutions of light. Anakin's fear of losing those he loved led him to embrace tyranny over compassion. Anger, on the other hand, is a destructive force. It consumes us, spurs us to lash out, and clouds our clarity. Anakin's rage against the Jedi Order and his enemies turned him into a machine of violence and lies, whether those we tell others or, more dangerously, ourselves, are traps of the mind. Believing in false promises of power, denying our true essence, or justifying dark actions seals our fate. Anakin fell for Palpatine's lie that the dark side held the only answer, and that illusion defined his destiny. Remember, just as you can't plant apples and harvest peaches, you can't cling to lies and expect positive outcomes. These emotions and beliefs aren't mere weaknesses. They're catalysts that awaken the archetypal shadow. They block us from tapping into the vitality, wisdom, and joy of the luminous, turning a rising sun's potential into a black hole of anguish, manipulation, and isolation. Most crucially, this struggle isn't confined to heroes from a galaxy far, far away. It's a battle within each of us. You've just delved into Darth Vader's psyche, witnessing how the same archetype that promised light can, through fear, anger, and lies, twist into overwhelming darkness. Anakin Skywalker's story isn't just a fictional saga. It's a stark mirror of the conflicts we face within ourselves. Did you feel that resonance? Did you glimpse the shadow lurking in your own choices or moments of vulnerability? The line between hero and tyrant, between a radiant sun and a black hole, lies in awareness. It's about facing your shadows, acknowledging them, and choosing not to be ruled by them. Your journey of self-discovery starts here and now. Don't let the forces of unconsciousness steer your life. As Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. If this video sparked a light in you or stirred a profound insight, hit that like button to spread this message further. To keep unraveling the mysteries of the human mind and learn how to balance your own archetypal energies, subscribe to Jung the Shadow Decoder and turn on notifications. Want to dive deeper? Share in the comments. How did this analysis help you see something new about your own psyche or the behavior of those around you? Your story could light the way for others. Darth Vader's journey shows us how powerful archetypes can shape a life, driving Anakin from radiant hero to shadowed tyrant. But what if the same forces that defined him are guiding your choices, your triumphs, and your struggles? Understanding your inner archetype isn't just about knowing yourself, it's about unlocking the power to transform your path. You can discover your ruling archetype, the core of who you are, and even awaken new archetypes to match the phase of life you're in, whether it's the strength of a leader or the vision of a trailblazer. My ebook, The Archetype Hack, is your guide to this transformation. With it, you'll uncover your dominant archetype and embrace your true essence. Learn to face your psychological shadow, turning buried emotions into fuel for growth. Use a self-discovery exercise to rewrite limiting beliefs that hold you back. Master the 12 primary archetypes, gaining the freedom to tap into their energies whenever you need. Imagine wielding the discipline of a commander or the courage of a revolutionary. With archetypes, you can harness these powers to shape your destiny. And there's more. To turn insight into action, I've included 2 exclusive bonuses. A potent self-hypnosis method to break free from self-sabotage for good. The Nikola Tesla 3 to 6 to 9 technique, a proven tool to manifest your deepest goals. These aren't just add-ons, they're the keys to unlocking a bold new reality. You're at a crossroads. Keep watching stories of others, or start crafting your own. The path to your greatest potential begins now. Click the link below to grab the Archetype Hack and become the architect of your future. Don't wait. Your story deserves to shine.